We have our first TAC meeting next month, October 7th, right here in this room. That's Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30. We'll be talking about, I like to call it disposable computing. If you've ever heard of Raspberry Pi, these new small single board computers that cost $35 and hopefully less. So we're just going to give you an overview of what that equipment is, what you can do with it on the hobby side and on the practical side. So I'd like to start off, have people introduce themselves, because that's what we want to know who you are, what you do. And again, like I said, I'm Cliff Samuels, Vice President of Technology Automation. I work with the state of Michigan in the health department. I'm in the STD surveillance section. I handle their IT work. You should know what STD is. If you don't, ask me later.
Hey, go ahead. All right. I'm William Bowen. Currently work full-time with the government doing various IT work, and I also work part-time at U of B Mercy as an adjunct professor.
Brian McRae, and this is all new to me.
Hi, I'm Dee Zimmerman. I'm a senior technical consultant for Pearson, and I also volunteer with BDPA.
My name is Cortez Christian. I'm a high school senior, and I was part of the HSCC program.
I'm David Slimak. I'm a freshman at Michigan State, and I was part of the summer internship program with CHE Trinity Health.
I'm Steve Slimak. I'm David's father. I'm just kind of here to support him and hear what he has to say about his internship.
Joshua Christensen, junior,
Lori Christensen, project manager for HP. I'm here with my son. I'm Pam Finger. I'm new. This is my first experience here. I was invited by Andre Brooks.
Okay, Andre.
I've known Andre far too long to even get out loud, but
Since last century, that's all. So we're just doing it like that.
let's leave it at that. And I'm just recently now a technical recruiter, or technical recruiting specialist. So when I say just new, I mean like a week and a half in. So, and I was in hardware back in the Stone Age when I first got out of engineering school at digital equipment. If anybody knows, which is now, gone with the dinosaur. That was my experience. And now I'm recruiting, so this should be interesting.
Hello everyone, my name is Renee Cunningham, and I'm one of the past presidents back in the late 90s of BDPA. And right now in my day job, I'm the CIO for Pike Management Company, and I also teach at University of Phoenix. And that's it.
My name is Chad King. This is my first meeting. This is my first chance being able to get here since being in BDPA through a sponsorship from GM. I graduated this past June out with a degree in information technology and security. And I'm currently an assistant analyst for a trucking company, Innovative Logistics.
Hello and welcome to everybody. My name is Edward, just call me E. Hudson, and yes, I am a dinosaur. I started my career with digital in New England back in 1980, okay? And right now, I am the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion for Black Data Processing Associates. I'm still trying to get that part figured out, and certainly always looking for help. Once again, welcome to everybody, especially the first-time folks. And folk I always see on Facebook but never had a chance to meet.
Hello, my name is Kenesha Brown. I'm a project manager with CHE Trinity Health, and I am the secretary with BDPA. Welcome, everyone. And those are my sons over there, the two interns right there. Those two right there.
Madam President, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Oh, my name is Beverly Moore. I am the president of the Detroit chapter, and I also work for HP during the day and BDPA by night. And I'd like to say welcome everyone. I'm excited to have such a great turnout and looking forward. I passed out to everyone a ticket because there's going to be a door prize. We'll talk more as we go on.
So which you want to start with our HSCC presentation?
I think we're going to start with the interns.
Well, come on up, interns. Oh, anywhere for the camera. So go right ahead, Dave.
Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm David Slimak. I'm a freshman at Michigan State. I'm majoring in computer science. And over the summer, I had an internship with CHE and Trinity Health. Should I just tap on the laptop or do you have a clicker?
Oh, no, go right ahead. I don't have a clicker.
All right, so just some of the contents is like a little bit about Trinity, so some of the shadowing opportunities I had, some of the projects I worked on, a few of the other things I worked on the side, some of the people I met, as well as like some of the things I learned from it. So just a little bit of like high-level detail. CHE Trinity Health is one of the is the second largest Catholic health system in the nation, and the fourth largest health system overall in the U.S. And it originally was just CHE, which was Christian Health East, and Trinity Health, and then they merged together to form CHE Trinity. And it's sponsored by the Catholic Health Ministries. So some of the visiting and shadowing opportunities I had during this was going to St. Mary's to see how technology integrated alongside medicine, and see how they use technology to help monitor patients more effectively and more efficiently, as well as visiting the desktop network services, where they answer submitted tickets for questions if they had problems with the hardware or software, as well as seeing the resolution center, where they took calls like if you needed to get a password for something or if you had other technical questions. So one of the big projects that I did over this internship was working for the Director of Data Governance, Joe Bonner, on a month-long research project looking up information about the clinical trials that CHE Trinity was performing across all of their hospitals. During this, I captured data from multiple sources, public and private, and from this I learned to create a presentation based off of the data that I collected, as well as get insight into office expectations for projects. Along with this, I was able to get some introductory work with a SQL database with Doug Zinder and Anita Krishnamurthy on SQL work, and I was given a basic knowledge of like a real-world large database. Along with this, I created a guide for future interns meant to accompany the tour and the tutorial that they gave Cortez and I. And it was meant to supplement the tour and not to replace it, so that once they enter the company in future summers that they can feel more welcome, and if they ever forget something that they can just reference the guide back. And over my internship, I was able to meet with Carla Rebelli, the VP of Program Management, as well as Marcus Shipley, the Senior VP and Chief Information Officer, and talk with both of them about sort of my thoughts on the internship, what I think is good about it, what I like about it, things like that. And as well, I was able to meet with BDPA members, one of which is sitting in the back, and Chris in the back as well, from the Trinity side of the company. Along with this, over the course of my internship, I was able to go to different meetings and shadow certain managers while they were at the meetings to sort of see like how they interacted in the settings. So I was able to attend 2 data scientists monthly meetings, the Trinity Health and Care Evolution meeting on database system discussions, a business objects learning where I learned to write reports based off of databases that Trinity Health had, a unified data warehouse meeting discussing data warehouses, a consumer advisory council where they brought the workers of CHE Trinity and then sort of developed a conversation with them talking about ideas on what they think would make a good web portal, as well as a town hall meeting, which was a gathering of coworkers to have sort of an open forum discussion. So from this internship, what I took away for some of the hard skills was knowledge of areas similar to the RC and DNS and how they operate, as well as presentation standards and data management expectations from my clinical research project, and an overview of a real-world SQL database, because before this, I'd never been able to see in action one of these centers or get expectations of an office setting or see a large-scale SQL database. So all three of these things were things that were just completely new to me. Oh, whoops. There we go. And of those other skills I've learned, I've taken some soft skills away, such as expectations and guidelines to follow in an office business setting, and learning to interact with coworkers in that office setting, to socialize with them or to just sort of work alongside them for things, as well as an insight into the delegation of tasks. So sort of who to go to for what, when to report to a manager, what to report to them, and things like that. And of this, some of the things I appreciated was the extremely friendly environment where every person I met, they'd say, oh, and if you have any questions, come by and ask me. So as my first real business work experience, having someone sort of being willing to help me along with anything I needed was greatly appreciated, along with the encouragement to learn and investigate any matters of interest for me, where I could just go to my manager and say, oh, I want to learn about SQL. And then they try to make that happen for me, just as a learning experience. And from that, there was a personal interest taken in me, consistently asking me about like what I think could be done to improve my internship experience, or like how they could focus on making it better. And in general, it was a wonderful experience, and I'm honored for the opportunity. Thank you to CHE Trinity, and thank you to BDPA and Beverly Moore.
Many collegiate students don't have the opportunity to participate in an internship type of scenario until later on in their college career. So how would you say this experience that you had impacted you as a first-year collegiate student in Michigan State University? How did you change your focus as a first-year student?
Well, I knew I wanted to do computer science, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I thought something programming, and that was as far as it had gone, because I had no outside exposure. But with this, I think it's helped to motivate me a lot, that I've gotten a taste of an office setting using computer science, and it's motivated me more to get more into computer science, and the office setting expectations it's given me has been kind of eye-opening.
So it made it more tangible for you?
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of preparation, if any, did your experience with BDPA give you to prepare you for this internship experience? And part two is, what do you think we could do as an organization to better prepare interns for their first experience?
Well, I mean, in terms of preparation, going into Trinity, if there's anything I didn't know, they made sure to get really hands-on with me and to guide me through it. So in terms of preparation, I think there's only so much. I mean, teaching them what to expect out of an office setting maybe, or helping them to get professionally prepared could perhaps help, but I think that the Trinity internship was really nice in that they understood that we were just high school students, and that we might not be at a completely business level. Does that answer the question?
Yep.
Anyone else? Yep.
So with your experience with databases, are you looking to learn more about the big data and learning other systems such as Hadoop and all the newer technologies coming out? Is that going to be one of your focus areas in college now, since you've had a chance to actually get your hands into real data?
Yeah, I think so. Before, I'd never honestly thought about big data that much. I'd heard the terms, but I'd never experienced it. But after this, since a majority of my internship was working for the director of data governance, I think that I've really gotten a lot more interested in getting involved with big data. So yes, it would be something I'd want to pursue in the future. You go.
Tell us a little bit about college life. I mean, I know for me it's been a few years since I've been on campus, and I can see that you're very loyal with your colors. and all of that. And they're doing real good, so I'm not gonna hate on state. But it is, I don't know how many weeks you've actually had a chance to be on campus. How's the transition been for you, and what are your impressions so far?
Well, I've started school on August 27th. That was my first day of class. So I have my math class, my basic computer science class, where employees from companies will come and sort of talk about what their job is and then opportunities for interns in the future. And then I have a macroeconomics class, and then I have my Europe and the World Social Studies class. So of those, I think I've transitioned well enough into them. My school, I think, prepared me for it. And with having this internship as well, Michigan State has several internship fairs. There's already been one, and then certain colleges within Michigan State have their own individual internship fairs. So I think that having this internship so early is going to help me in the future for getting continual internships and learning more about the field.
Are you having any fun?
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned everything else, but so I figured I'd kind of help it along.
Yeah, it's a great environment. Chris?
Having an opportunity to do almost a one-on-one with the CIO of Trinity, one of the largest healthcare organizations, and do a presentation, how did that feel? And what did you get out of it?
Well, going in, I didn't know what to expect. I was honestly really nervous, and I think you can tell I was going a little fast now too. Just a little bit of nerves, but as I got going, and as he actively asked questions, like actively paying attention, and then asking questions of specific things I talked about, he helped me to get more comfortable with like talking back and forth with him about what my thoughts were on the internship and similar thoughts about the internship. So I think it's helped me to become more expectant of how to interact, because like I said, it's been a learning experience of interacting one-on-one in such a professional environment.
I have to tell you, man, I was blown away with both you guys. I really was. Completely blown away. I think he was too.
This is a really nice presentation.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
While we're late for Cortez to set up, again, latecomers, introduce yourselves to the audience.
Excuse me, my name is Richard Session. I'm one of the HSCC instructors.
And one of our budding entrepreneurs at one of our startups in Detroit.
I am a software engineer for startup downtown.
My name is Chris Carson, and I work for Trinity Health. I'm the VP of Strategy and Planning for BDPA Detroit.
And our sponsor.
Oh, and one of the sponsors for BDPA Detroit.
I'm Sharon Doss. I work under 12 programs and business.
Ivy Adams, I work for CHE Trinity Health and also work alongside Chris Carson on the board.
All right, Cortez.
Oh, I think it was one more person.
We have one more?
Sharon?
Sharon, you
How did you introduce yourself?
Yeah, she did it. All right, Cortez, where's yours?
Right. Hello, my name is Cortez Christian, as I stated earlier. Majority of this I'll be soundboarding, so please bear with me.
What's that?
Basically saying what David said. Okay, so this is what I will be going over on my presentation, my experiences, what I learned from my experiences, moving forward, how I'll be able to use this. And we were asked to also include a reflection, and then it will be followed by a short Q&A. So this is just a general overview of all the things I was able to experience while at CHE Trinity. For example, like David stated and hit on early, the St. Mary's hospital visit, and that visit really helped me like see how they incorporated IT into the everyday workings of a hospital, because I wasn't really sure how either one of those touched each other. So it was really nice to see that. But majority of my time at CHE Trinity was spent working on something called the DevP3 project. They basically made an application that predicts revenues for RHMs at hospitals. And I was their tester for their application, so basically I got to break things. So that was a really good idea because I got to work with a team and see how a team functioned, and when a problem arose, how they dealt with it, and it was really valuable. I also had another little side thing I did for some spreadsheet inputting. One was just counting licensed beds for hospitals and RHMs and putting them in a spreadsheet. And another was Hyperion validation, which is basically their database, and they wanted to make sure the values that they were showing in the application matched what the actual values were. And I found some discrepancies, and they jumped on that really quickly. I also got to do some shadowing with the DNS, the Data Network Services, and the RC. Those were really nice because, first of all, I didn't know the DNS actually existed. I was like, everybody's IT. They can fix their own computers. But, but I guess not. So it was nice to be able to see, okay, there's actually a group of people that specialize in just fixing things. So I enjoyed that experience. And just in the Resolution Center, just seeing what people have problems with. Like, we got to listen in on some of their calls, and it ranged from just regular, oh, I need you to reset my password, all the way to my computer won't turn on and it just doesn't like me today. And besides that stuff, also got to attend a lot of meetings. I'm not gonna say all of them, but like first day I got there, I was able to meet with Mike DeBetts and Paul Ranke, and they were just talking about, they're part of the, I can't remember what division they're in, but basically
technologies.
Yeah, the new technologies that basically just critically think about how they can make healthcare better and more accessible for those outside of healthcare regions. So if you go to a hospital in California, they can still get your information. That was really nice. I got to bounce ideas off of them. They told me about some of the stuff they think about. Really cool. I got to meet with Marcus Shipley and Carla Robelli, which was very frightening at first, considering how high up they were, but it was a valuable experience because I'm going to have to interact with people like them in the future, and they were a great experience for a first time meeting, so I really enjoyed that. Okay, this is just key things I felt I took away from this. Number one thing is that everybody was dependent basically on everybody else. So if DNS stopped working, a lot of people wouldn't be able to get their work done. And also, through the DevP3 project or going to the DNS or the RC, I realized patient care is at the heart of everything when it comes to a healthcare system and IT. Like the Resource Center, they said they want to answer calls as quickly as possible because they don't know what's happening on the other side of the line. So, like if a nurse can't get in the computer, that's a problem if there's a patient having a heart attack. So that was important. I also learned that questions are not bad things that you should avoid. If you have a question, ask somebody that might know the answer. I hit on how IT deals with healthcare earlier on. And I learned to be open-minded, well, more open-minded, just from working on the DevP3 project, because there were a lot of problems in there that I found that he didn't know how to fix, so he just started checking everything. So I thought that was really nice. Moving forward, this can help. I can use this information moving forward because career choices that I never knew existed, I now know of. It helped me solidify what I want to do. Like, it helped me further my knowledge because I was teetering between two things. I had numerous contacts, too many to count. I got better at my communication skills in an office setting or presentations, and my knowledge. I gained a lot of knowledge while I was there. Yeah. This is the reflection, basically what I appreciated, and what could have been more effective I feel could be for anywhere actually. But what I appreciated was that everybody was ready to help. Like David said, first day, if you have any questions, come ask us. And they were constantly asking us through the last day. If you have any questions, come ask. All the opportunities I got to experience in the hands-on, I wasn't just sitting on the back lines while they coded. I actually got to see their code, manipulate their code, break their code. But a couple things that I felt could have been more effective was the system access and computers, because I know it is like a big thing you have to go through, procedures and whatnot to get people access. So maybe finding ways to get that up and running quicker. And before the students actually get to your company, do an assessment of their interests, just so they can hit the ground running with something they might like. Thank you for listening to me talk. Are there any questions?
So now that you have this experience, if you could go back to your 9th grade year as a 9th grade high schooler, what would you change differently? In terms of like how you would approach your academics or anything, I'll just use that as an example. What would you change now that you know what you know now about this real world experience and, you know, interfacing with professionals and professional settings? As a 9th grader, let's say you're 12th grade, go back 9th grade, anything you would change?
Well, me personally, I always say what I've done in the past got me where I am right now. So I want to change a thing actually of how I approach things in my 9th grade year, because I feel if I had diverged anywhere, I might not have had this opportunity.
Now that you've had this particular experience in a professional setting, what are you telling your friends about the experience, and are you looking in some way to lead them maybe into IT?
Oh, I made sure people heard about my experience. Oh, teachers couldn't get enough of me talking about it. But I let a lot of my people that I know enjoy IT just as much as I do learn about what I did and whatnot. And I'm trying to push them to find something like it, whether it be through BDPA or just their own searching.
Now I got another follow-up question for you. You seem to have really enjoyed breaking code. Are you considering IT security? Because we certainly need folks that can go in and be the police for some of the folks that we would like to see you become a white hat as opposed to a black hat, if you see what, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So was that particular experience something that you would like to repeat?
Definitely. I really enjoyed it. And internet security, it always piqued my interest. I just never really knew where to go to start my wheels up with it. But it's always been in the back of my brain, like, this is something that could possibly be very fun to do. So, yeah.
I'm going to get you to stretch a little bit. How about sharing with us some of the challenges that you face in order to be at Trinity Health? on time and some of the other challenges that you went through, that you can encourage other young folks that just because you have a challenge doesn't mean that stops you. You follow where I'm going with this? If you could just touch on that.
Well, I've had challenges all my life, so
Right. Just a brief, like,
yes.
transpo, I think.
So challenges aren't anything new to me, but this experience in Jasper in particular, I had a great deal of challenges actually when it came to location and getting there and whatnot and trying to be punctual. I was punctual, don't get me wrong, I wasn't late. But the CHE Trinity is actually in Livonia, and I live in Detroit, basically Davidson and Woodrow Wilson. So I'm deep Detroit. So getting there and back was a hustle already for me with my mom working and whatnot. So she had to get up way earlier just to drop me off. And then the car went down, so that was the first thing we had to overcome. Okay, I'm in Detroit. I have to be back to work. How am I going to get there? My brother lived in Canton, so we were able to work things out, thankfully, and I stayed with him during the week, came back home for HSCC, and then went back on Sunday. Then his car got wrecked. His girlfriend was coming home from work, got sided on a left-hand turn, so his car was knocked out. But thankfully, my uncle was able to get him there, but until he was able to get that second car, I was getting my way to work still. So challenges shouldn't stop anyone, but instead encourage them even more, because I always like a good challenge. I feel when I overcome a challenge, I've done something. I feel successful.
So what was cool? What surprised you that you didn't expect to be cool in the healthcare industry from your internship?
The people at CHE and Trinity, like from the first day, I was just, am I in the right place? Like everybody just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it was just such a great atmosphere. Like I walked in knowing it was a great atmosphere without really talking to anybody.
What would you really work at?
They, any more questions?
Okay. Next, we're going to have HSCC talk about HSCC 2014 and HSCC 2015. Are you, Richard, or Tanya?
Oh, make Richard come up here and talk. Sitting back here in the back. All right.
Hello, everyone. I didn't prepare anything, but I can review with what happened this year, 2014. So again, my name is Tanya Zimmerman. I've been working with HSCC for 9 years, and currently the coordinator, and I also train the students in the job of technologies. So this year we had a lot of weather challenges. As everyone knows, it snowed incessantly, it never stopped. It snowed every freaking Saturday and Friday night. It never ceased to amaze me that it could be all week fine, and then it's Friday night, Saturday, it snowed. So, but the students were very good in still attending class, they still came. This year, the students, we've been teaching at CompuWare. They've been very helpful with that, and they don't charge us anything, so it's great. The students come in, they go over HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And then we also do Java, JSTL, SQL, presentation skills, and time management. So those are all the things that they cover. So we start to January, early February. And then we go all the way up to the conference, which this year was the first weekend in, first week of August. The students, we had a 4-person team. We had 5 people on the team? 4 people on the team, I'm sorry, I was just trying to remember. We had 4 people on the team, but we also took 2 more students this year. We had 6 kids go with us this year, which was great. We were in Indianapolis. And so 2 students participated in the youth technology camp. And that's where they don't compete, but they get the conference experience, and they get to go on trips, and they get to do workshops and things like mobile development and what else you got to do? Remember?
There are a lot of speakers. Yeah, listen to a lot of people.
Well, they do workshops and everything, and then the HSCC students, they go in and the first day they have workshops, and then they go into the competition, which is a written competition, written as far as like on the computer, answering questions. They do an oral competition where they answer questions as a team, and then they have a computer competition, programming competition, which is on the last day, on a Friday. And they sit in a room for about 9 hours or so. They program for about 7 of those. They're given a spec that day, that morning, and then they are supposed to create an application from that. So we had 2 new students this year on the team, so they had it was very challenging for them, but they really appreciated it. They all seemed to enjoy it. 3 of them graduated this year, so Cortez is the lone HSCC alumni this year. So I'm sure there'll be more coming, and he'll be the leader. And he'll, tell everybody about his experience. This is that was your 2nd year. And we also had another student on the team. It was his 3rd year. And the other 2, again, were first-time students. There are going to be some things coming, my understanding, from the national standpoint. There are going to be some new additions to the programs and changes. I don't know what those changes are yet, but I know we have some local changes that Richard is going to discuss here in a minute. And that's it. Any questions?
One of the things that I'm familiar with that's going to be added to the HSCC is a component of mobile development and cybersecurity. One of the things from my conversations, because I volunteered to be part of the, national committee or so to speak about it, was doing something that would mimic the Cyber Patriot games. Red, white, blue teams, one team attacks, other things.
Okay.
That was in discussion about mid-July or so. That was the last time that I recall having a meeting with the HSCC, the conference call. So, just as
I knew that was part of it. I didn't know the details outside of, they were talking about mobile component and cyber security component. So that's not to be confused with the mobile app showcase. There's 2 different things.
right.
Which we also, a couple people from Detroit were part of that this year, including myself. It went pretty good. We had a really good response back from the conference, so that was another thing that Detroit was a part of, so I'll be happy about that. Any other questions? Yep.
Are you involved in any kind of recruitment? I don't know, you didn't mention the number of students that started out, or at least that said that they would sign up at the beginning of the year.
We had 11 students. We had 11 students sign up. You mean for HSCC?
Yeah, for HSCC. I wanted to know, okay, so you said you had 11 to start out, but do you have any plans that you can share with regards to recruiting efforts? Because we're in September now, and hopefully there's a way to generate a buzz so that you'll at least have the same that you had from earlier this year, maybe increasing. Have you given any thought, or are you involved in recruiting efforts at all?
I'm not, Richard will go over that.
Okay.
Later. But our previous recruitment efforts have varied from year to year. You know, one year, like maybe the second or third year I was involved, there were like 60 kids that showed up. And then the next year there was 5. So it's really weird how that happens. But we've used like, you know, social media, posting on the website, word of mouth. I think just, not that this is going to be one of the ways, but maybe one of the possible ways is just, I mean, also people who are a part of BDPA, they tell coworkers, and they, you know, they have kids around that age, that type of thing. So that's usually, I think, where we get the biggest push response from the parents, who, particularly if they work in IT or something like that, their kids will come participate. It just varies, you know, every year, but I think that there is a need for a more solid recruitment effort. And probably, my understanding from years back, you know, volunteers in the organization would go to the schools, because I know one year we tried going to the school board meeting, and they had some technology part of it, and Anthony here at Liberty, he attended that meeting, and he spoke about the program, but it's about getting that filtered down into the kids' hands, and that's been the hardest part, getting it to the kids, and then even then getting it to their parents, because their parents have to be willing to bring them to class and that kind of thing. But I'm sure that is going to be addressed. Any other questions? Nope.
So again, my name is Richard Session. I'm a HSCC instructor, and I guess from the way things are looking, I'm going to be the coordinator for next year. So just talking with Anthony Garrett about some of the changes we're going to make next year. One of the biggest changes that's going to happen is there's going to be a PMI component to the class. So there's going to be a setup where students and volunteers, they're going to have a PMI instructor come in at the end of each class, or probably at the beginning of each class, for maybe 45 to 90 minutes.
What's PMI?
Project Management Institute. Okay. And basically, the whole idea behind this is to give the students the ability to take the CAP-M exam, which is an entry-level project management certification. And the really big qualifications are they have to be have a high school diploma or equivalent, and you have to have 23 hours of training before they take the test, which they will have before the class is over. So it's going to be the biggest change in the class. As far as the actual class instruction itself, just based on some things that happened with the competition, we are going to change the way we do a few things in the classroom. There will be an attendance policy required for review sessions and actual classroom instruction. Mandatory homework. I'm going to try to do more things as far as like having them actually do tasks in the class, less instruction, more actual tasks as far as like doing web projects, things like that. And also doing more things in teams. I mean, the whole competition is based around working in teams, so I think we need to do more teamwork to actually get them used to working together. And I think the biggest thing is actually we're going to do weekly graded quizzes. And all these things are going to be used in combination to figure out who's going to be part of the team. There won't be any grading on the curve or anything, but we need to know that these kids are they're connecting the dots between HTML, CSS, and all the different subject matters. That's the only really way you're going to know if they're actually ready to compete at the national level. As far as recruitment, I've actually been reaching out to a lot of people in the community. Just the other day, I reached out to Keisha Gray. She's the Director of Parent Community Engagement at the University Prep Schools. I've reached out to people in Ferndale schools. I've reached out to people at Teen Height that works out in the Detroit Public Library in Woodward. A few other people, but I definitely want to field a bigger class next year. And I've been reaching out to my personal network of people to figure out how we can get more kids into the classroom. I think that's pretty much it for 2015. So do we have any more questions?
You said PMI, people my ears perked up. So out of curiosity though, the 23 hours, are you guys banking on that 23 hours be the time that they're gonna have here at BDPA? You know, PMI, someone has to validate those hours for them.
Right, so the PMI instructor will validate those hours.
So
and we're going to do a few minutes every class throughout the
So
entire
the class, okay, so
Yeah.
you're use that class?
Yes,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
Now, we'll be integrating some more of the online content that's available for web training, so to help supplement their education when they're not there on Saturdays.
Yeah, so there will be weekly reading assignments, there will be weekly quizzes. It's kind of hard to figure out what to use as far as like online resources based on what we're going to be teaching them. I mean, we can't integrate stuff from Code Academy or other online resources like that, but it just kind of depends on what we're going to be teaching. And it's just really valuable and it really applies to what we're working on.
As far as you mentioned that there's going to be, the quizzes and a little bit more structured evaluation, if I could use that term. Have you in any way gotten to a point where you have a standard that says, are you going to go from a 0 to 100 and what that standard actually is? Have you gotten to that? That's one part. Have you even gotten to that part? And the other thing is, who's going to do all this work? Because it sounds like there's the training component, meaning that you have to have the training aids, and you are and for whatever the quizzes are, you got to develop the quizzes, which means you have to have the answers, etc. That's an awful lot, and that's one of the challenges that we face in the organization. So while you're before us, if you need some help, now might not be a bad time to ask for it.
I would definitely like some help, yes. As far as actually creating that from right now, I mean, I have no problem creating it. I figured the quizzes might be 8 to 10 questions. Last year, I actually created presentations during the week for where I was going to be teaching on Saturday. So just add maybe another hour or two during my entire week to come up with the quiz, and then pass it out to the students, grade them, and see where they are as far as their learning and their ability to retain the information that we're teaching them. As far as an actual grading scale, we haven't come up with that yet, or figured out what threshold we want them to reach to figure out if they're actually, knowledgeable enough to compete on national level.
If I can add to that, we do have some things in place. We do have a quiz database, we have a question database. We have, we also did some, we had like a homework database as well. Some of that stuff either, I still have the quiz database, we still have presentations from, years and years ago. Some of it has fallen to the wayside. Some of it is just when you have a low participation, it's kind of hard to go into that whole, okay, well, you only know 60%, so you just have to stay. And that means only one kid knows it. It's kind of hard to do that. So the biggest thing, in order to really be effective, there has to be more kids. And they have to stay through the whole time. Because if they don't, you don't have much to choose from. You can't be picky like that, honestly. I mean, I'm just, that may sound, crazy, but it's the truth.
No, it doesn't sound crazy at all, because that was one of the questions. That was why I asked you about recruitment, because if you're trying to meet a minimum standard, you have to have the numbers, and then amongst those numbers, there should be some healthy competition as well as some cross-fertilization, as far as if you have folks that are not picking it up and those that are blowing it out of the water, then hopefully those two will come together, which kind of leads me to a question that deals with team building, because you had mentioned that you wanted to do some things in the way of team building. Have you come up with some pretty good sources thus far in terms of team building activities?
when I've talked about team building, I meant more so along the lines of coursework within the classes, not actually getting them comfortable with working with each other. I mean, I think that'll come naturally as they continue to go to class each week. I mean, it's happened the last 2 years. They eventually all become good friends. So it's going to happen organically. But as far as like actually working together and people figuring out what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are and combining their strengths and actually be a Ultron in a sense, that's the thing I want to really work on. That way, you know, one person doesn't have to be the LeBron of the team. You can actually rely on your teammates to pick up the slack for you if you're failing in certain areas.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I know that in the past, I mean, this is going way back, that they used to have regional competitions, because I think that it's important that before you get to nationals, that, and even through the, and I hope that this doesn't come off negative, the weed out process, you know, because the cream always rises to the top, that the students overall, in terms of their experience, whether or not they make the team or not, shouldn't matter, because they're going to take away some great technology skills and then hopefully some really good social skills as well, because we know that with us having smartphones nowadays and social media, that doesn't necessarily encourage actual verbal, physical interaction. So that's kind of why I asked about that. And when you start talking about the notion of HTML, are you teaching HTML5 and CSS3?
Yeah, that's what I started teaching last year. And I know, like, just based on how I teach and how Tanya's been teaching, we don't teach them for the competition. We teach them so they actually need some skills, whether they are on the team or not. So if they lead the class, they actually have some real skills they can apply to something else. I don't know how any other chapter does, but that's how we've been doing it.
Now, from instructors that may be needed to assist, are there certain skill sets that you two may be looking for to bring on board to assist you?
They know those technologies, and they not only do they know them, but they work with them, like they have recent experience. Or even if they've taught it before and they feel comfortable enough to teach it, then those are technically good. But definitely someone who has hands-on experience, like day-to-day experience. Those are the preferable people to participate as instructors. And even as assistants, because sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to spend my whole 4 hours teaching, but every for 6 weeks. So that person could also participate as someone that just comes in and helps out this week.
Okay. Yeah, I work in the Madison building downtown where all the startups are in the city, and I planned on just like kind of like getting out there to a few of the developers out there, see if they'd be, even just like one Saturday, it'd be nice to have them there. They might have a different teaching style. They might be able to get through to the students a lot better than say I may be for a certain subject. Yeah. So it's be good to see a different face in the classroom too, I think.
Okay. I may have some resources.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd like to have some resources too. I don't know how far in advance you plan out the weeks, but you know, if we can get that information, like what type of skills you need for the different weeks, you know, we certainly can help get people to volunteer for those times. You know, to have not to maybe, I mean, I know lead teachers, but I certainly think to find some people that can help out some of the different weeks.
I know definitely the first 2 months of the class will be HTML and CSS, so that'll probably be late January until maybe early March. So your front-end developers, you have to email.
I got a question for both of you. Because the internet and the mobile world, and basically the world that we live in, is very visual, my question is there any component of the HSCC training that deals with design, and particularly graphic design? Because it sounds like, and we're all kind of techies here, because that's kind of why we're here, but beyond the logic, it's got to look pretty. And do you address any of that?
I guess the closest to that would be like Richard was teaching Twitter Bootstrap this year. So Twitter Bootstrap is it's a library, it's a CSS library that helps you design your page.
CSS is a very tedious language to deal with. And to have to deal with that in a 7-hour competition was even more tedious. But that's about the closest I would say we got to that. Because while we don't necessarily teach just to win the competition, we still have to go along with whatever the national agenda and your recommendations are. If they ever got into, if you're talking about like, making, really nice logos and things like that, is that what you're doing?
It's actually beyond, I mean, I'm a web developer, so I don't want to get too deep in this type of setting, but I know that in my work, in my design work, I'm finding that even though I really like dealing with the code piece of it, my clients rarely care about the code. They always want to know about the creative side. And so I'm having to become much more proficient with like Photoshop and Fireworks and Illustrator for vector graphics. And what I'm finding, or at least what I'm seeing in the industry, is that you have, if graphic designers are becoming much more technical, they find a way to end up pushing out the folks that are highly technical because of the visual world that we live in. And so when we start talking about this notion of training, you're going to have students that are probably going to be all over the board. You're going to have some that are going to really be caught up in the programming aspect of it, but then those creative types need to understand that there's a place for them as well in information technology. That's why I asked the question.
The training itself, I would say, doesn't completely support that, but that's a possible topic to bring up in the national center, because they definitely are looking for ways to engage all the students. And I agree, there are students that are visual. Actually, to me, I think most of the students are visual because they don't really know there's things behind it. So there's a few that when they get behind it, like, oh, that's cool, and then most of them are like, what is this? Like, I don't understand this. I can't see what this does. I don't understand this. So there definitely is a need for that, but like I said, the closest we get to that would be the web page, the page design, and maybe adding some pictures here and stuff.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. I'm actually like a full stack developer, so I do design, develop, database, and servers. And I mean, based on how much time we have for the class and what they, this is a hard thing to learn. This is not for everybody. So putting that other aspect on it would even put them even further behind. And then there's the additional expense of getting the graphic design software and getting computers that can handle that graphic design software. Because I mean, Photoshop isn't cheap, Illustrator isn't cheap, and then just the level of instruction that's needed to teach these additional tools. I mean, you would need them in class a few times a week instead of just coming every Saturday.
I think we should have a conversation about that because the organization has vast resources. And I'm sure that there's somebody, whether it's here on the local level or between here and national, that's got a relationship with Adobe. And Adobe does have programs that deal specifically with students. And so hopefully if we're able, and I think that we can be very successful in obtaining the software, and of course now all of it is kind of in the cloud piece of it. If we've got the software piece of it, then we should be challenged to make sure that we cover whatever needs to be done as far as hardware and making sure that there's enough processing power and memory to do the graphic design piece of it as well, and maybe even have it such that the students have that as auxiliary. You've got the basic stuff that's required that you have to do, but then if you decide that you might want to investigate this other stuff, you can use that as supplementary. And that might be a good carrot for them as well, especially if you're having trouble picking up HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Java, etc. But yet you tend to lean to this other side. Then that way, you at least looked at the total picture. So we can have some more dialogue about that offline.
Yeah, definitely.
kind of piggyback what you just said, that sounds like a good conversation for another TAC meeting. Like basically have a TAC meeting where we just talk about all the graphic software that's out there. Best way of purchasing it, even some of the free stuff that's just as good as.
Yeah, I used GIMP before I got Photoshop, so.
But they are different worlds, right? The graphic design versus the application development world, they're done by different people with different kind of approaches towards the solution. And that's kind of what makes it probably good, is because they're coming from these different angles.
But it's a good experience to have because you, as a developer, you see the entire picture. You're not isolated to just thinking about the back end. You understand how your back end code is going to affect the end user as well. So there's like different sides to the argument, but I definitely what you're saying as well.
We understand it's a lot. Yeah. And, you know, just understand that if you're starting at zero, and you got to take them someplace, and they got to get there before the national conference to be able to compete, to win. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we understand that that's a huge task in and of itself. But if we can also add to it,
right.
I think that it'll ultimately will attract a larger audience, and hopefully we have a more dynamic team.
And I will say, when I did reach out to a lot of people in the community, the one thing that really captured them was how much money the organization gave away at the conference and scholarships. Whenever I pitched that out there, they were, oh, this sounds great. Let me talk to my director or my president about this and do more. So I think that's a good way to, if anybody wants to talk to any community organizers or people who are in charge of engaging with parents and students, throw that $119,000 out there. And HP and Oracle and Eli Lilly and Trinity Health is one of the sponsors of the organization. They'll start listening. And they'll push the kids to open house. So.
Do you have a location? Do you have a confirmed location for the 2015 classes?
I mean, I think it's still copyright for right now. I don't know what's going to happen with the hedge fund company that bought copyright a few months ago. Hopefully that's going to be the situation for 2015 as well.
Well, just to note, I don't know logistically, you guys may be able to use Trinity, but again, you know, some of the challenges is where the facility is located.
Where is it located?
It's in Livonia.
Any other questions for Richie? Okay, I also wanted to point out that Kanisha is going to be heading up the PMI part of that 2015 class. She's PMI certified, and so she will be the primary person working with that piece. We just had another person join us, Dr. Jay Harrison. He is our outside director and my mentor. Keeps me honest. Hard job. And I think that, anything else you want to cover?
That was it, unless someone else has any questions. Excuse my voice for shaking, I'm having a little cold, so. Hopefully I was clear to understand everything I said.
Fantastic. How you doing? Great minds think alike. So I'm going to open this up with the recap from the conference. They had a little video they put together, which I thought was really good because it has a picture of me in there.
main thing for me is resources, right? So what both of these organizations provide is resources, informational resources, resources as far as finding jobs. So the biggest benefit for me, and I think documents and other people, is that this is a place for resources. So if you're trying to learn new technologies, if you're trying to network with other IT professionals or other technology professionals, these are the organizations that are supporting.
There has been quite an opportunity to network right up the gap. It's been an opportunity for me to also meet some very talented high school students and college students as well. They're very passionate about technology and will be our future leaders. So I want to encourage that and also share with them about our technology pipeline program so that perhaps we can grow them in Wells Fargo.
My theme for the morning, it's not Sunday, I know that, is the economy, technology, and diversity. 3 essential mindsets to compete in the 21st century. Are you with me? The 21st century, all right. All right.
I started my membership in BDPA right as I was finishing graduate school. And I was mentored by several groups of BDPA that pretty much launched my career. And so now as national president, I'm really a good representation of the classroom support. And as national president, which is the highest office in the organization from a program perspective, that's the main reason I want to see others follow. That mentorship that I received from that was absolutely on time with where I was at my time.
It's great with all the different events we've had. I've got you so many people excited about. It actually makes me really excited about the future because now I literally physically put my hands on it and tell you where I am right now. So that's very exciting.
I'm an African American IT professional. It's benefited from the help of many mentors that I see. We were representing our items and having the ability to impact others and to continue that development is what BDPA is all about. It's all about how you reach the ones and bring it behind it to further expand them and others.
In truth, the highlight, which I guess let's say at the culmination, we get an opportunity to recognize the student participation. But towards at our day, we get the opportunity. So as you hear the training all year, we now came and we demonstrated that capability that we have been training for. And those of you that have risen to the top for awards, we see all the scholarships and some opportunities.
Alrighty. So, from a highlight perspective, in a video, that was it. It took us from beginning to end. The conference was is something that we do every year. I need Cliff to get me back. We do every year, and every year it's usually in a different city. And I have been a member of BDPA for probably close to 30 years. I started as a baby. And I've gone to pretty much all the conferences during that time, and probably except for maybe 2 years that I might have missed sporadically. But that family and that network that you obtain from going to the conference is invaluable. I mean, it's just awesome. And I go a lot because it's also a sort of a family reunion, because I get to see folks from last year from around the country. And one of the things I learned early on about being able to come together with people from around the country is that you find out that some of the things you're dealing with, people around the country are dealing with them too. And so you're not in a silo. You think it's just you, it's something that you're doing, and you find out someone else is doing the same thing. And so it kind of helps to give you confidence that this is something you can overcome. And they can tell you how they overcame it and those kind of things. So that is an invaluable experience, and hopefully by the time I finish this presentation, I will have convinced you that you really need to think about going to the conference next year. And one of the exciting things that happened is the Detroit chapter. We won Chapter of the Year for Management. We put a lot of hours putting that report together, and it paid off. Last year, we won for programs and professional development. This year, we won for management. And the goal is next year, we take it all. I think we can do it. Okay, so first day when we got there, they had every day they had a daily boot camp at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the instructors were awesome. They did an awesome job, and they were excellent eye candy ladies. And that was a great thing. I said earlier, I work for HP. HP was in the house, no doubt. HP is a platinum sponsor, and they brought the pod. The pod is a mobile cloud technology unit that they use to promote the cloud technology and talk to potential customers about the opportunities and options when they use cloud, and they use the HP cloud. So that was exciting, having that there. Next week, when the conference opens, there's an opening ceremony. And in the opening ceremony, they did, they did a lot of the awards. So the award that we won this year, it happened while we were in the opening ceremony. So that was exciting and truly unexpected. Other events that are going on once the conference opens is the computer competition starts. They have a day they do this, another day they do that, and we talked about that earlier. We got the youth camp going on. The students, they arrived on Tuesday. The conference opens on Wednesday because they have to be ready to hit the ground on Wednesday morning. And then the adult workshops start on Wednesday also. They started pretty early this year. And so that was exciting. There were several plenary sessions, and these are sessions that are sponsored by different companies, and they're usually at lunchtime, and they feed you, and they compete on who got the best food. So that's always exciting to go to those every year, the different sessions, and you find out some different things. 2 sessions that we had this year, one was from WellPoint, and again, HP was in the house. We did an awesome presentation there at the conference, at the plenary session, and we had the best food. And one of the more exciting things that happens at the conference, and I really can't talk about this enough, and that is the career fair. I don't know of any other place or organization that has a 2-day, all-day career fair where you've got top 500 companies, at least 30 or 40 of them, in a room looking for people to hire all at one time. And you don't have to be looking for a job in that city. So wherever the career fair is every year, if you're interested in making changes and you want to talk, you've been trying to talk to somebody from Oracle or IBM or Microsoft, and you haven't been able to get that face-to-face, excellent opportunity, because they're going to be there, excellent opportunity. And it's free. You don't have to register for the conference to attend the career fair. All you need to do is just show up, have a resume, and you can go and participate in that. It's just an awesome event. And then we finish it all off with our banquet. And the banquet is where they present the final awards, chapter of the year, and they make a lot of presentations to our sponsors. They did a lot of that this year in the banquet. So that was also exciting and surprising for some folks too.
David won an award at the
Absolutely, absolutely. David won the Oracle Scholarship himself, and I think it was 2 others. 3 people won the Oracle Scholarship, and David was one of them. Last year, some folks will remember last year we cleaned up. I think we had one student that got 2 scholarships and another student that got a scholarship. So within the Detroit chapter, we brought home 3 scholarships in our chapter just alone. So awesome. It's an awesome opportunity. I know this slide is a little busy. Oh, here it comes. But it's just to make a point that there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, a lot of workshops going on, different topics. And one of the most important things I want to point out to you is that the BDPA National Conference is an excellent opportunity for you to get your name out there. You ever thought about being a presenter? I mean, this is the ground level place to start to be a presenter at the BDPA National Conference. Build your confidence, get your reputation out there. And so, having been a member for as long as I have, I could not miss that opportunity because of my latest passion, which is Agile. I stumbled across Agile and I just decided that this is it. I love this stuff, I want to know more. So I have no experience in it, but I can talk it. And so I've been studying it, I am certified and a couple of certifications in it. So a lot of people can't say that they even have experience. So I can talk with the best of them on that. But I got a chance to make a presentation on the Agile methodology and principles, which I feel is very important to understanding it. And I had a really good turnout. I had about 35 people that showed up for that presentation. And as a result of being a presenter at that conference, I was asked to be a presenter at Piedmont. And also, I think a couple of other organizations approached me, asked me that I want to be a presenter. And so, I mean, this is an opportunity. It's awesome. You know, so when you're a presenter at the conference, it opened doors. So that's my point on that slide there. ITSMF is another organization which is sort of a sister organization, started within BDPA. It stands for IT Senior Management Forum, and they are at our conferences. They have their conferences parallel with ours, and it is what it is a senior management organization that offers a mentorship program where they help you prepare for executive positions, whereas some organizations have mentorship to help get you into management or senior management. This particular forum is about preparing you for executive leadership positions. And there's, you know, as a BDPA member, that's a part of your benefits. It's an opportunity to participate in that organization. HP is very active in that organization, and we have at least one person that is a protege there. I'm a past protege. I was a protege in 2001 or 2000. And right now, Tanya Williams, past Detroit chapter president, who also works for HP, is a protege in that program. She's being sponsored by HP, which is awesome, which says a lot about the program. They think enough of it, and they sponsor her to be in that program. And the relationships that she built, all the members of that organization, the mentors, they're all executive level for different companies all around the country. And they match you up with someone with your similar desires. So it works out really well. One of the preliminary sessions we had was presented by Brian Tippett. He is our Chief Diversity Officer at HP. It's starting to sound like this BDPA conference was an HP conference, but no, it wasn't. But we were in the house for sure. And again, we had the career fair. It opened up on Friday. You saw in the video the ribbon cutting ceremony, which was very interesting to watch, and that career fair. I went to the career fair, and it's very interesting. I won't say anymore. So I want to take this opportunity to say, you know, one of the things that BDPA has to do in order to grow is that we have to build our membership. And in building our membership, that means we have more people that can participate and help develop and grow the organization and take advantage of the things that it offers. And as a result, it helps us build our story and tell our story. So I'm opening up a membership drive that will start October 1st, and it will go through November 30th. And if you renew or become a member during that time, you will be put in a drawing to win a conference registration for 2015. Free conference registration. And that drawing for the conference registration will be held at our annual holiday mixer, which will be in December. We're still deciding on the date and the place. You will not have to be present to win, and this will include student members as well as adult memberships in that. The conference next year will be in Washington, D.C. The dates are August, as a matter of fact, it's showing up here. Oh, it didn't show up, okay. It is the week of the 18th, I think, through the 22nd.
Yes, it's a little bit later this year.
A little later this year, which is right on my birthday week. So you know you gotta come and party with me. So that's always exciting. That's another reason why I enjoy the conference so much most of the years, is because it generally falls in my birthday month. And folks that know me, they know that I celebrate my birthday the whole month. What happened? I lost it all.
There it goes.
Oh, there you go, okay. Okay, quickly, I'm going to talk about our calendar for the rest of the year. October, we're going to have a presentation on cloud computing. Our presenter is going to be from HP, who are the authors of cloud computing. And we will also have a presentation in October by Cliff. Cliff will be doing a presentation on Raspberry Pi. And then November, this has become an annual event that we do in November, the 2015 Detroit Area Job Outlook. And it's a discussion panel. Last year we had the panel, we had HP, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Creature Solutions on the panel. And it was a full house, and it was a couple people got hired out of that. So it was a worthwhile event. So we're looking forward to doing that again. This year I do have a commitment from GE and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan again. I'm working on Chrysler and GM. So, and there may be some others that are going to join that panel. So stay tuned. That's going to be an exciting thing. They're going to be talking about what does the job outlook look like for 2015 in the Detroit area, what skills there are going to be in demand, that kind of thing. And I try to make sure that I have the right people on the panel so that we can go from entry level to executive positions. I want to make sure that there's someone that's talking about executive opportunities on that panel in the Detroit area. In December, we're going to do a members only meeting. And so that will fall in with this membership drive. And what happens at the members only meeting stays at the member only meeting. So you don't want to miss that. You like Vegas? And we will also have our annual holiday mixer in December. In January, this is again part of an annual event that we've kind of started last year to do a follow-up on the job outlook to talk about resumes and resume writing, resume critiques, what's in and what's not. We found out some interesting things about what recruiters are saying about resumes. Last year, one of the most surprising things I found was that the objective statements they don't care about anymore. They don't even read them. That was surprising. So you might want to bring your resume and plan on attending that. There's also rumor, and I don't know this for certain, but I've been contacted a couple of times about a regional spring symposium and career fair that our regional organization wants to do and wants to host in the Detroit area. So more to come on that. 2015 is an election year. And let me go back for a second and say, that's another reason why you want to go to the conference next year, because it is also an election year at the national. And not only do you want to go to the conference, you want to be a member of the Detroit chapter, and so that you can be a delegate. Because being a delegate at the national conference in an election year is a life-changing experience. I mean, it reminds you of when you look at TV and you see the Senate hearings, and they're using Robert's Rules of Order to run everything and try to get it right. This is what goes on. And then being an election, also you got people running around campaigning. The politics is so thick, it's unbelievable. It's going to be in Washington, D.C., the capital of politics. So again, I mean, if nothing else, you want to see this happen, see this play out. It's going to be extremely exciting to be at the conference next year, and especially to be only a member and be on the inside track. And so with that, I want to say that Detroit chapter, we have several volunteer opportunities that can help you develop your leadership skills and other technical and non-technical skills. We have an opening. You can, even you, any of you can be president of the Detroit chapter. If you're a member in good standing, you can run for president next year. And there are a lot of benefits in being president of the chapter. It's a humbling experience, if nothing else. Vice President of Finance is an open position. And the VP of Membership Management, looking for someone to fill that role as we speak. We don't have to wait till the end of the year on that one. The VP of Communications, I mean, where else can you may not be able to get a vice president title in your workplace right now, but you can get one with BDPA. And that builds your confidence. You know, you get to act out what it would be like to be a vice president. And you get to experience it firsthand. I mean, taking on a leadership role in BDPA is almost like being an entrepreneur, because you have a lot of free reign of what you want to do in that position. A lot of opportunity. I mean, if you are a VP of membership and you decide that you want to increase membership by 200%, it's up to you to design how you want to do that. And you know, that's an opportunity right there. I mean, so consider things like that. Consider getting active in the chapter. If you're not a member today, consider going out to our national website, becoming a member. Our VP of Communications is another opportunity we're looking to fill right now. Director of Marketing and Director of Grants and Proposals. I mean, have you ever wondered what writing grants is all about? I mean, that's a skill that you could take and do and use in your regular life. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you probably may be looking for grants. If you're a student, you might be looking for some grants and scholarships. What is it like to write proposals and grants? Here's an opportunity to get some hands-on experience. And there are people within BDPA that will help you to learn that are doing that on a regular basis. Wayne Hicks, who was who's the president of the Foundation. He does that every day, writing grants and proposals to get money for BDPA. So, I mean, if you learn from Wayne, you learn from the best. If you ever get to know Wayne, you'll know that for a fact. So, in conclusion, BDPA Detroit Chapter of the Year of Management would like to say thank you for coming out tonight, and please enjoy some more refreshments, and I will be around if you have any questions. Thank you.
I'd like to ask, before we conclude, I'd like to ask a question. We have two new people here that have come to BDPA. What is it that you're looking for? What else would you want us to do to help you move forward or want to learn more about? Just in general, what the new people have been here, just something that, because we want to serve the membership much more direct, because right now we're putting in a good program. We'd like to get more of this directed to what you want. So is there anything that just, right at the top here, just one or two things that just hit you that's like, I'd like to learn more about this, or want more information on some other topic?
Go right ahead. Personally, for me, expand my professional network is always a big one. Probably have a mentor-mentee relationship with someone, because I'm not new professional, but I'm new to IT. Maybe show somebody else some of the things that I know also. If I can bring the knowledge that I have to anybody else, that everybody knows. Each one teach one. So I'm for all three of those things.
Excellent. You're in the right place. My network of mentors is vast, and networking period. I mean, just especially as a president of the chapter, I get invited to a lot of things that I normally would not get invited to. You know, just an average person. So you're definitely in the right place when you're taking on especially if you're taking on a leadership role. You know, you're going to get invited. If you're out there, you can go to places. You got a reason to start up a conversation. So you're a BDPA.
Now, Brian, you said you're new to the field, so what are you kind of looking to pull out? Because you've been at the Focus Hope IT user group meetings.
Right. Well, I'd like to learn more about, or probably train to be an IT professional, or at least learn to master some of the concepts. I'm just, I'm just kind of overwhelmed looking at, cloud computing and the way things are going. I understand that another location, Grand Circus, they said that you don't have to have a really intense math background to learn this new type of coding that they have there. So, this is, I'm opening up to learning a whole new area of knowledge.
We definitely thank you, and also keep in touch with us. Check our website. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, meetup.com, or if you have any questions, just shoot us an email. You can check our website, has all our contact information. If you have questions, let us know. Because we're here to help broaden the, I would say, people of color in IT, because I get tired of when I turn on CNN and they show IT, I don't see people of color, and I'm sick of that. It's time for us, I want, my dream is, well, I don't know if Obama will be here long enough. I want Obama to call us. I want him to call us. I want myself to ring President Obama. What's that? Oh, you need BDPA on this subject? Yeah, okay, we'll be down there and give you a hand. That's the type of thing I'm kind of dreaming of, because we've been in this field for a long time. I mean, it just, unfortunately, the media hasn't really presented us like that. That if you look at the history, the first video game was built by black men. That's not common knowledge, because the media really hasn't pushed that out there. But so we've done stuff. And it's just, BDP has been here to try to showcase that it's difficult because, you know, the media we know how the media likes, if it bleeds, it leads. So we're fighting against that. That's something we like to change in the 21st century.
So yeah, just a little known fact, our founder, Earl Pace, was inducted to the Technology Hall of Fame about 3 years ago. And it may not be evident to you, but BDPA is the largest minority IT professional organization in the United States. And so now I'm going to do the drawing, and what I have is provided by HP, a power pack for your cell phone to keep you always on. So, and what's your name? Sarah. Sarah will help me with the drawing.
Say what you want, girl. Say what you want. There you go.
1728222.
I'll take it. I'll do it. Where's my?
Let's do one more.
Oh, let's do one more. Okay, let's do. Okay, let's do one more.
1728814.
Yeah.
You named it. You named it.
It's a conspiracy for CHE.
Sarah does take two.
I think everything comes in waves. Let's do one more.
I know. Come on, Ivy. I know, what about Ivy?
Okay, yeah.
17289.
Nobody left, did they? 989.
Yep, they left.
Oh, yes.
172,830.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, my last one.
Okay, excellent, thank you. I have, thank you everybody. I have some flyers about the membership drive. If you'd like to take one to remind yourself.